What is time? You can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't taste it, but it rules everything. It's the most familiar thing in our lives, and the most mysterious. We all know what it is until someone asks us to explain it. Then we just stumble. We say we're running out of it. We say we're wasting it. We try to save it. We wish we had more of it. It's a thief that steals our youth. It's a healer that mends our wounds. It marches on, we say. It flows like a river. But does it? Is it really moving, or are we the ones moving through it? Think about your own experience. A watched pot never boils. That's not a saying about pots. It's a saying about time. When you're waiting for something, for the microwave to ding, for the doctor to call you in, every second stretches. It becomes thick and slow. A minute feels like an eternity. But think about a great conversation with a friend, or getting lost in a good book. Hours disappear. You look up and the sun is set. Where did that time go? It was the same number of minutes on the clock, but it didn't feel the same. Not even close. This is the first clue. Time isn't just one thing. It's at least two things. There's the time on the clock, the objective, steady ticking of seconds, minutes, and hours. And then there's the time in our heads, the subjective, slippery, strange thing we actually live with. The two don't always match up. Our brain plays tricks on us. When we're young, summers feel like their own lifetime. A whole world could exist between June and August. When you get older, years start to blur. Seasons change in a blink. Christmas comes around again, and you feel like you just took the decorations down. Now, why does this happen? Part of it might be about new experiences. When you're a child, almost everything is new. Your brain is recording vast amounts of information. The first day of school, learning to ride a bike, seeing the ocean for the first time. These memories are dense. They take up a lot of mental space. So when you look back, the time period feels long because it was so full. As an adult, life often becomes routine. One Tuesday is much like the last. The brain doesn't need to record as much new data. It has the pattern down, so the days, weeks, and years seem to compress. They become less memorable, and so they feel shorter in hindsight. Memory is tangled up in all this. Our past isn't a video we can replay, it's a story we reconstruct. And time is the thread we use to string the story together. But the thread can stretch or shrink. We remember moments of high emotion with incredible clarity. A car crash, a wedding day. It's a sudden loss. Time seems to slow down in those moments. People say they saw every little detail. The brain goes into high alert mode, absorbing everything, so that 1 second of impact feels like 10. The past for us is a collection of these moments, some stretched, some compressed, all held together by a story about who we are. And then there's the future. The future doesn't exist, not yet anyway. It's a concept. A projection. It's the space where we place our hopes, our fears, our plans. We spend so much of our present moment thinking about the future. Worrying about a meeting next week, looking forward to a vacation next year, this mental time travel is a uniquely human thing. But it also shows how flimsy our grasp on time is. The future is just an idea, and the past is just a memory. The only thing that seems real is the present, the now. But what is the now? The moment you try to grab it, it's gone. It's already the past. The word I just wrote is in the past. The thought you just had is in the past. The present is an infinitely thin sliver between what was and what will be. We live our entire lives on the edge of this razor blade. It's a strange thought that everything we have is this fleeting moment that we can't even hold on to. This is why people talk about being present, about mindfulness. They're trying to widen that sliver of now to actually inhabit it instead of living in the memory of the past or the anxiety of the future. So our personal experience of time is a mess. It's a feeling, a perception. It's not the steady, reliable thing we think it is, but we needed to make it reliable. As societies, we couldn't function on feelings. We need to coordinate, we needed to agree on what time it is, so we invented the clock. Before mechanical clocks, time was tied to nature. The sun rising and setting, the phases of the moon, the changing of the seasons. Time was cyclical, it was natural, a day was from sunrise to sunset. An hour was not a fixed thing. A summer hour was longer than a winter hour. Life had a rhythm, but it was a loose, organic rhythm. You planted crops when the ground was ready. You stopped work when it got dark. Then came the mechanical clock. This was a revolution. Suddenly, time was chopped up into equal abstract units. Seconds, minutes, hours. It didn't matter if it was sunny or cloudy, summer or winter. An hour was an hour. Time was detached from the natural world and became a machine. This changed everything. Factories could organize workers, trains could run on schedules. People started to think differently. Punctuality became a virtue. Wasting time became a sin. A new phrase was born: time is money. Time was no longer a cycle you lived within, like the seasons. It became a resource you could spend, save, or waste. It became a straight line, a conveyor belt moving from the past to the future. And you had a limited amount of it. This created a new kind of anxiety, the pressure to be productive. The feeling of being behind schedule. We built our entire modern world on this idea of clock time. Our workdays are divided into hours. Our lives are divided into years. We have deadlines and appointments. We synchronize our watches. We live inside a grid of time that we created. It's incredibly useful, but it's also completely artificial. A week is 7 days. Why? It's just a convention. A year has 365.24 days, which is messy, so we invented leap years to patch it up. We created time zones, which are just political lines drawn on a map. You can literally step over a line and go from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's a collective agreement, a shared hallucination, in a way. This grid of time is so powerful that we forget it's an invention. We think it's reality. We feel stress because it's 5 p.m. and we haven't finished our work. We feel joy because it's Friday. These feelings are real, but they are triggered by an abstract system we built. We have become servants to our own creation. We look at our calendars and our clocks to tell us what to do and how to feel. And we have forgotten the sun and the moon. But what does physics have to say about all this? Is there a real time underneath our psychology and our social constructs? For a long time, the answer seemed to be yes. Isaac Newton thought of time as a great cosmic clock. He believed time was absolute, that it flowed at the same rate for everyone and everything in the universe, everywhere. A second on Earth was the same as a second on Jupiter, or in the most distant galaxy. And time was the universal backdrop against which the events of the universe unfolded. It was simple, it was intuitive, it matched our experience with our clocks, and then a man named Albert Einstein came along and ruined the party. Einstein showed that time is not absolute, it's relative. This is one of the most mind-bending ideas in all of science, but the core of it is surprisingly simple. He realized that the speed of light is constant for all observers. No matter how fast you are moving, if you measure the speed of a beam of light, you will get the same number. This has very strange consequences. To make the math work, something else has to change, and that something is time. Einstein's theory of special relativity says that the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. It's not just a feeling, it's real. If you were in a spaceship traveling near the speed of light, time for you would slow down relative to someone on Earth. Your clock would tick slower, you would age slower. If you flew around for a few years and then came back to Earth, you might have aged 5 years, while everyone on Earth had aged 50 years. This is the famous twin paradox. It's a real measurable effect. GPS satellites have to account for it. They are moving very fast, so their internal clocks tick slightly slower. If scientists didn't adjust for this, your GPS would be off by several miles every day. But Einstein wasn't done. He then developed his theory of general relativity, which brought gravity into the picture. He showed that gravity is not a force, but a curvature in the fabric of space-time. Massive objects like planets and stars warp the space-time around them. And this warping doesn't just affect space, it affects time. Time runs slower in stronger gravitational fields. A clock at sea level will tick ever so slightly slower than a clock on top of a mountain, where gravity is a tiny bit weaker. The difference is minuscule, but it has been measured. Near a black hole, where gravity is extreme, this effect would be dramatic. If you could hover near the edge of a black hole and then return, you would find that thousands or even millions of years had passed for the rest of the universe. So physics tells us time is not the steady river we thought it was. It's a dynamic, stretchy, bendable thing. It's woven together with space into a four-dimensional fabric called space-time. My now is not the same as your now if we are moving relative to each other. The idea of a single, universal now that encompasses the entire universe is an illusion. There is no cosmic clock ticking away for everyone. Each of us has our own personal time, moving at its own rate depending on our speed and location. This leads to an even stranger question. Why does time seem to have a direction? We can move left and right, forward and back, up and down in space, but in time we can only move forward. We remember the past, but we don't remember the future. You can break an egg, but you can't unbreak it. A building can fall down, but you never see a pile of rubble spontaneously assemble itself into a building. Why? Physicists call this the arrow of time. And the best explanation we have for it comes from a concept called entropy. Entropy is, simply put, a measure of disorder. The second law of thermodynamics states the total entropy, or disorder, of a closed system will always increase over time. The universe as a whole seems to be a closed system. It started in a very low entropy state at the Big Bang. It was incredibly hot, dense, and uniform, a state of high order. Ever since then, it has been expanding, cooling, and becoming more disordered. Stars burn out. Energy spreads out, things break down. The arrow of time might just be the universe moving from a state of order to a state of disorder. The reason you can't unbreak an egg is because the broken egg is a much more disordered, higher entropy state than the whole egg. There are countless ways for an egg to be broken, but only one way for it to be whole. The universe just naturally moves toward the state with more possibilities, which is the more disordered state. So, our perception of time moving forward might be fundamentally linked to the increasing messiness of the universe. We are surfing the wave of increasing entropy. This is a powerful idea, but it's also a little unsettling. It means that time, as we experience it, is not a fundamental property of the universe at the lowest level. The basic laws of physics at the quantum level work just as well forwards as they do backwards. The arrow of time seems to emerge as a statistical property of a large system. It's a macroscopic illusion. So we have the time in our heads, the time on our clocks, and the time in the fabric of the cosmos. But the philosophers ask an even deeper question. Is time real at all? This question splits thinkers into a few camps. One view is called presentism. This is the common sense view. Presentists believe that only the present moment is real. The past is gone. It no longer exists. The future has not yet happened. It does not exist either. All that exists is this thin, fleeting sliver of now. Reality is constantly coming into being and then vanishing into non-existence. This feels right. It matches our intuition. But Einstein's relativity makes this view very difficult to hold. If my now is different from your now and there is no universal now, then what does it mean for only the present to be real? Whose present, the whole idea of a single, privileged present moment that sweeps through the universe, seems to be a casualty of modern physics. This leads to another view, called eternalism, or the block universe theory. This is the view that comes more naturally from relativity. Eternalists believe that the past, present, and future are all equally real. The universe is a giant four-dimensional block of space-time. Everything that has ever happened and ever will happen is already there, laid out in this block. The past isn't gone, the future isn't unwritten, it's all just there. Our consciousness just moves through this block, experiencing it slice by slice, creating the illusion of passage. Think of it like a movie. The entire film exists on the reel from the opening credits to the end. But you experience it frame by frame, one after the other. According to eternalism, the universe is like that reel of film. The Big Bang is one end, and the ultimate fate of the universe is the other. Your birth, your life, and your death are all just parts of this static, unchanging structure. Time doesn't flow, it just is. This is a profoundly strange idea. It means the dinosaurs are not gone, they are just in a different part of the space-time block. Your future already exists in the same way that London exists even when you are in New York. The implications for free will are staggering. If the future already exists, are our choices just an illusion? Are we just actors reading from a script that has already been written? Philosophers and physicists are still debating this. There is no easy answer. So maybe time is an illusion created by our consciousness. Or maybe it's a real dimension of a block universe. Or maybe it's an emergent property of entropy. The more you look at it, the less solid it becomes. It's like trying to grab a fistful of smoke. Let's bring it back to something more solid. Our bodies. We don't just perceive time with our minds, we live it with our bodies. We have internal clocks. The most famous is the circadian rhythm. It's a roughly 24-hour cycle that governs our sleep-wake patterns, our body temperature, our hormone levels. It's why we feel sleepy at night and alert during the day. It's why jet lag is so miserable. When you fly across several time zones, your internal clock is out of sync with the local clock time. Your body thinks it's 3 a.m., but the sun is shining, and everyone is having lunch. It takes a few days for your biological clock to reset. This internal clock is deeply embedded in our biology. Now, it's not just in our brains, almost every cell in our body has its own little clock. These clocks evolved over millions of years to be in tune with the rotation of the Earth, the cycle of day and night. We are, in our very cells, creatures of time. And of course, there is the ultimate biological clock aging. Aging is the process of change over time, written into our bodies. From birth to death, we are a demonstration of the arrow of time. Our cells divide, they accumulate damage, they lose their ability to function perfectly. Our wrinkles appear, hair turns gray, our bodies wear down. This is the most personal and unavoidable aspect of time. We have a finite amount of it. This finiteness shapes our lives profoundly. The knowledge that our time is limited gives our choices meaning. It creates urgency. It forces us to decide what is important. What do we want to do with the years we have? Who do we want to spend them with? If we lived forever, would anything matter? Would we ever get around to doing anything? The deadline of death gives life its structure, its poignancy, and perhaps its beauty. So, what is time? It's the subjective feeling of a moment stretching or shrinking in our minds. It's the story we tell ourselves about our past. It's the space of possibility we project into the future. It's the artificial grid of clocks and calendars that we've built to organize our societies. It's the economic resource we call money. It's the source of a shared pressure that drives our modern world. It's a dimension of the physical universe woven together with space. It's a relative quantity that can be bent by gravity and stretched by speed. It's the arrow of increasing disorder that gives the cosmos its direction. It's a philosophical riddle that questions the nature of reality and free will. It's the biological rhythm inside ourselves. It's the inescapable process of aging that defines our lifespan. Time isn't one thing. It's a multitude of things. It's a personal feeling and an objective measurement. It's a human invention and a fundamental feature of the universe. It's the ultimate paradox. We are born in it, we live in it, we die in it, but we can never quite get our hands on it. We try to measure it with the most precise atomic clocks, but its true nature remains as elusive as ever. Perhaps the best we can do is to stop trying to conquer it, or save it, or manage it. Perhaps we can just try to be in it, to pay attention to the thin slice of now as it passes, to feel the sun on our face, to listen to the rain, to appreciate the moment of quiet before the world rushes in again. Because in the end, our life is not measured by the number of ticks on a clock, it's measured by the quality of those moments. And that's the only time we ever truly have.